Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really diving into something fascinating, how this whole digital world is, well, fundamentally reshaping us. You've shared just an incredible amount of material with us, looking at everything from, the deep biology of how your brain learns,
hmm
right through to AI, educational tech, social media. It's a lot. So our mission here is basically to pull out the key insights, connect some of these seemingly separate threads, and really help you grasp the huge impact these technologies have on your daily life, how you learn, even how we interact as humans. And, we'll try to do it without getting lost in the jargon.
That's right. And what's really fascinating, I think, is just how interconnected all these areas are. We're going to trace this amazing path from how we understand the brain itself, the learning process, and how that meets this incredibly fast-moving technology. Expect some real aha moments, I think, as we go from basic human learning to these really complex digital systems we're all living in now.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Starting with the brain's amazing adaptability, especially for learning. Our sources talk a lot about neuroplasticity. What's the core idea there?
Neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's basically your brain's incredible ability to physically change itself. It's not like fixed hardware. It's
Yeah.
constantly rewiring connections based on what you do, what you learn. So when you dive into learning English, for example, your brain really kicks into high gear, reorganizing itself.
That's a really powerful idea. And the sources point to actual, tangible changes happening inside the brain when you learn a language. What kind of shifts are we talking about?
Right, this is where it gets really interesting. Learning a language can actually increase the density of gray matter in certain spots. Think about the hippocampus, crucial for memory, right? Or Broca's area, which handles speech production,
Hmm.
actively using English, grappling with vocabulary, trying to speak. It literally builds up these areas, makes them stronger.
And it's not just the gray matter, is it? There's also the white matter, the brain's communication network.
Precisely. The white matter, those nerve fibers, they're like the brain's information superhighways. As you learn English, this network gets more efficient. Communication between the different language processing centers becomes faster, smoother. It's like upgrading the wiring in your head for quicker data transfer.
So for you listening, someone maybe actively learning English right now, what's the big takeaway from understanding this neuroplasticity and these changes?
The main thing is realizing that consistent practice isn't just, a good suggestion. It's literally telling your brain to physically strengthen those neural pathways. Every time you study, speak, listen, you're physically building and refining the brain structures that support that language. It's more than just memorizing, you're actually evolving your brain.
Okay, that leads us nicely to the specific brain areas involved. Could you sort of map those out for us? Which parts are doing what?
Sure. So Broca's area, that's kind of your go-to for putting sentences together, dealing with grammar. Then you have Wernicke's area, which is absolutely vital for understanding language decoding words when you listen or read. And the hippocampus, obviously key for memory.
Right, the memory powerhouse, holding on to new words, those grammar rules. And the auditory cortex, that must be working hard too.
Definitely. It's busy processing all the unique sounds of English, learning to distinguish sounds that might not even be in your native language.
And then there's the prefrontal cortex, the sort of high-level control center.
Yeah, exactly. It's involved in decision-making, focus, problem-solving. So when you're searching for just the right word or figuring out a complex sentence, that area is firing. And what's really fascinating, the sources mention this, is that people who speak more than one language often show more activity in the dorsal prefrontal cortex. It's like your brain's air traffic controller, managing multitasking and cognitive control. Learning English isn't just a skill, it's like a cognitive workout.
That's a great way to think about it. Now, the sources also dive into memory, distinguishing between declarative and procedural memory. Can you break those down?
Okay, so declarative memory is your conscious memory. Facts, information you explicitly try to learn. For language, that's your vocabulary list, grammar rules, the stuff you know that you know.
Right, the explicit stuff.
Exactly. Procedural memory, on the other hand, is more unconscious. It's for skills and habits that become automatic, like speaking fluently without thinking about every single word or rule. It's the difference between knowing the rules for riding a bike and actually, just riding it without thinking.
That makes perfect sense. So for our listeners, what are some good science-backed ways to optimize both memory types for learning English?
Okay, for declarative memory, the words, the rules, two big things come up. Spaced repetition and active recall. Spaced repetition just means reviewing material at increasing intervals. So you see new stuff often at first, then less frequently as you learn it.
So it helps you remember without just drilling constantly. Smart review.
Exactly. And active recall is about deliberately pulling information out of your memory, not just rereading it. Things like testing yourself, using flashcards where you force yourself to remember the answer before you check, that struggle to retrieve. That's what makes the memory stronger.
And how does strengthening that declarative memory help with the procedural side actually speaking more fluently?
Well, by making those basic building blocks, the vocabulary, the grammar, more automatic through strong declarative memory, you free up your mental bandwidth. Your brain isn't struggling so hard with the basics, so it can focus more on the flow, the rhythm, the automaticity of actually speaking. It's like knowing your piano scales really well frees you up to play a melody smoothly. Consistent practice, especially speaking, is then key to making that transition.
The sources also mention the critical period hypothesis. This sometimes worries adult learners, right? The idea that kids learn languages more easily.
Yeah, that idea is out there, that there's a window in early childhood where language learning is kind of effortless. And while maybe some aspects of plasticity change as we age, adults have their own strengths. We're often better at explicit learning, consciously understanding and applying rules. So it's just a different path, not necessarily a worse or slower one for adults.
That's really encouraging. The material also talks about dopamine, motivation. Why are they so important here?
Dopamine is often called the brain's reward chemical. It plays a huge role in learning and memory. When you feel successful or enjoy something, dopamine gets released, and that actually helps strengthen the memory of that experience. So feeling good helps you remember, basically.
So if learning feels rewarding, you're more likely to retain it. Motivation and memory are linked. How can listeners actively use this?
Setting small, achievable goals is a great way. Finish a chapter, learn 10 new words. Each little success gives you a dopamine boost, reinforcing the learning. Gamification works too, like language apps with points and streaks. They tap into that reward system. And maybe most importantly, find English content you actually enjoy. Movies, music, podcasts, whatever you love. Making it enjoyable makes it stick.
It's amazing how these brain processes all work together. The discussion then turns to something vital but often overlooked: sleep. How does sleep help language learning?
Oh, this is crucial. During deep sleep, your brain actually replays and consolidates new information. That includes vocabulary, grammar rules you learned during the day. It's almost like your brain runs its own overnight review session, embedding that new knowledge much more deeply.
That's incredible. So, practically speaking, what does that mean for someone learning English? Is there a best time to study?
Well, some research suggests that reviewing your lessons or vocabulary shortly before you go to sleep can be really effective. It kind of primes your brain to work on that specific material while you sleep. So a quick review before bed could give you a real memory boost.
Okay, so we've looked at how the brain learns. Now let's get practical with some specific neuroscience-backed strategies. We touched on spaced repetition and active recall. How can people really put these into practice?
Right, so spaced repetition is that timed review. Active recall is forcing yourself to remember. It means less passive reading, more active testing. Try using flashcards, quizzing yourself, maybe summarizing a chapter without looking back at it.
That struggle to remember is key. And there are tools for this now, right?
Absolutely. Apps like Anki, Quizlet, Memrise, they use algorithms to manage the spaced repetition schedule for you. They figure out when you need to review specific words or concepts based on how well you know them. Takes the guesswork out of it.
That's super helpful. Another big strategy is immersion and contextual learning. Why is learning stuff in context so effective for the brain?
Because our brains are wired to learn by making connections. When you learn a word or phrase in a real situation, not just from a list, your brain links it to that context. It builds a richer, more interconnected mental map of the language, rather than just isolated bits of data.
So how can someone create that immersion if they're not living in an English-speaking country?
Lots of ways, actually. Watch English TV or movies. Start with subtitles in your language, then English subtitles, then try without. Try to consciously think in English sometimes, even just narrating your day in your head. Join online language exchange groups. Even small things, like changing your phone's language setting to English, can create constant, subtle exposure.
And then there's multisensory learning. What's the idea behind using multiple senses?
It's pretty straightforward, really. Engaging multiple senses, seeing, hearing, speaking, writing, creates more neural pathways for that information. More pathways mean a richer, stronger memory that's easier to recall later. It's like giving the memory more hooks to hang on to in your brain.
Can you give a concrete example for learning English?
Sure. Take a new word. Don't just read it. Listen to how it's pronounced. Say it out loud yourself. Write it down. See it written. Use it in a sentence you create. By doing all that, you're hitting visual, auditory, and kinesthetic pathways. It makes the memory much more robust than just seeing the word on a page. Don't just read it, do things with it.
That makes a lot of sense. The sources also highlight some common pitfalls that slow people down. What are some big ones?
One huge one is relying too much on passive learning, just listening or reading. You need output too. Speaking, writing. That's where you really solidify things. It forces you to actively use the language, not just absorb it.
And the fear of making mistakes, that holds a lot of people back.
Definitely. But mistakes are absolutely vital. They're data points for your brain, showing where you need to adjust. Trying to be perfect from the start is counterproductive. And another thing is sometimes neglecting pronunciation early on. You can make it harder to understand others and be understood later.
Okay, so what are the solutions then? How do we tackle these?
For passive learning, make sure you build in active use. Summarize what you read, try to have conversations, write emails, or journal entries in English. For the fear of mistakes, try to reframe them as learning opportunities. Find low-pressure situations to practice, like with a language exchange partner who understands your learning. Everyone makes mistakes. And for pronunciation, actively work on it. Practice sounds that are tricky for you, maybe using minimal pairs like ship and sheep. Shadowing native speakers mimicking their rhythm and intonation is also great.
Great advice. The discussion then moves into accelerating learning, and technology seems to be a huge factor now.
Oh, absolutely. The tools available today are incredible. AI language models like ChatGPT can be amazing practice partners. You can have conversations, ask for corrections, practice specific scenarios, like a tireless tutor.
And things like VR language apps.
Yeah, they offer immersive simulations, ordering coffee, navigating an airport, all in a safe virtual space. But really, nothing beats starting real conversations early. The sooner you start speaking, even if it's imperfect, the better. Platforms like Tandem or HelloTalk connect you with native speakers. Or join a group like Toastmasters if you want structured speaking practice. Don't wait until you feel ready, just jump in.
That learning by doing approach seems key. Lastly, the materials mention mnemonics and storytelling. Why are they effective?
Because they tap into how our brains naturally work. We're wired to remember visual information and stories much better than abstract facts. Linking a new word to a weird mental image or embedding it in a tiny story makes it so much stickier in your memory.
Like the example given for ponder, picture a pond where you go to think deeply.
Exactly. Those kinds of associations create much stronger, more lasting memory anchors than just repeating the word over and over. So, to wrap up this part, the key things are harnessing your brain's plasticity with consistent practice, using smart techniques like spaced repetition and active recall, immersing yourself, engaging multiple senses, staying motivated, getting enough sleep, overcoming common hurdles, and leveraging technology and conversation. It's about working with your brain.
That's a fantastic summary. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's look at how technology itself has evolved to support learning. It's amazing to think about the journey from, say, slate boards to AI tutors.
It really is. And our aim here isn't to drown you in history, but to pull out the most significant shifts so you understand the foundation of the tools you might be using today.
Right, get those aha moments connecting the past to the present. So, starting way back. Slate boards, chalk, seems basic now.
Kind of wild to think about, but they were revolutionary in their time. They allowed for collective instruction, easy correction, reusability, fundamental stuff. Then came printed textbooks, obviously the main knowledge carriers for centuries, and overhead projectors, a big step for sharing visual info with groups. Even early radio and TV broadcasts played a role, reaching learners outside the classroom walls.
But the really big jump came with computers in the 80s and 90s, right? Computer-assisted learning, or CAL.
A gigantic leap. CAL, in those early days before the internet was widespread, was really focused on the essentials. Building blocks, lots of drill and practice for math, science, language skills, interactive exercises on screen. And don't forget, things like typing programs Mavis Beacon. Developing basic digital skills was crucial even then.
Oh yeah, Mavis Beacon. And then CD-ROM encyclopedias like Encarta.
Mind-blowing at the time. The sources highlight this because suddenly a whole library's worth of information was on one disk. It broke free from the physical limits of print encyclopedias, a really crucial step towards the information age.
Okay, then the internet hits. The 90s, early 2000s, things really took off.
That was the Wild West phase, yeah.
Yeah.
Online research became possible, instant access to global info. It started democratizing knowledge. Email changed how teachers and students could communicate, extending interaction beyond the school day. And we saw the first sort of basic e-learning platforms emerge. Just websites with courses, but a radical idea then laid the groundwork.
Which leads into learning management systems, LMS. Things like Blackboard, Moodle.
Exactly. Blackboard in 97, Moodle in 2002. These weren't just websites. They were designed for online learning. They gave you that central online space for everything: syllabus, readings, notes, digital quizzes, submitting assignments online, and importantly, they allowed teachers to track student progress. That whole structure you see in online courses now, it's a direct result of this evolution.
So fast forward to today's digital classroom, it looks completely different again.
Oh, totally. It's a whole ecosystem now. Interactive whiteboards like smartboards, making lessons dynamic, multimedia, tablets, iPads everywhere, pushing personalized learning with digital textbooks, and countless educational apps for every subject, every learning style.
And ebooks themselves, Kindles, PDFs, so much more portable and often cheaper, plus digital libraries like Google Books or Project Gutenberg, giving free access to classic texts.
That accessibility is absolutely crucial. Removing barriers is a huge benefit of this tech.
Then we have gamification and video, big game
It's
changers.
huge. Gamification, think Duolingo, Kahoot, uses game mechanics, points, badges, leaderboards to make learning just more engaging, more motivating intrinsically. And video-based learning. YouTube Edu, Khan Academy, TED Talks. It's like having free tutors available 24/7 on almost any topic. Video is so powerful for explaining complex things visually, showing real-world examples, plus you get the personality of the presenter. It's democratized expertise in a way we've never seen.
Which brings us right up to the edge of the next wave, artificial intelligence in education.
Yeah, this feels like a really significant development. We're right on the edge of another major shift, I think. We're seeing AI-powered tutoring systems pop up, sophisticated chatbots that can give instant help, explanations.
And adaptive learning software. That sounds potentially transformative.
It really is. This software watches how you're doing in real time and adjusts the difficulty, the content, to match your specific needs and pace. It's almost like having a personal tutor that evolves with you. That level of personalization just wasn't possible before.
And AI is helping with the administrative side too, like grading.
Yeah, things like Grammarly giving feedback on writing, or even automated systems for grading multiple choice tests or certain types of essays. The idea is to free up teacher time from some of that repetitive work so they can focus more on direct interaction with students.
And the big dream of truly personalized learning paths.
AI is key there. Algorithms analyze tons of data. Your performance, maybe even your learning style preferences, your interests to create customized learning journeys. Think about how platforms like Coursera or Udemy recommend courses. That's AI trying to guide you to what's most relevant for you.
This ties directly into the huge growth of online and remote learning generally, doesn't it?
Absolutely. MOOCs, massive open online courses from places like Coursera, ADX, Udacity, opened up university-level learning to millions globally, often with certificates you can use professionally. And virtual classrooms, Zoom, Google Meet, Teams became essential during the pandemic, obviously, but they also proved live online teaching could really work at scale.
That rapid shift forced by COVID definitely accelerated things.
For sure. And it led to more exploration of hybrid models, blending online and in-person learning, like the flipped classroom model.
Right, where you watch lectures online at home.
Yeah, and then use class time for discussion, problem solving, more interactive stuff. It flips the traditional model to leverage the strengths of both online and face-to-face.
Looking back at this whole evolution, from chalk to AI, it's just staggering.
It really is. The takeaway is how these tools, step by step, have created unprecedented opportunities for you as a learner. Access to resources, interactive practice, global connections. The potential for growth is immense. And clearly, this evolution isn't stopping anytime soon. Adapting is key.
Okay, so we've seen AI starting to transform education. Let's broaden the lens now and dive into AI's impact across society as a whole. It's everywhere, isn't it?
It really is woven into the fabric of our daily lives now, often in ways we don't even notice.
Exactly. That navigation app guiding you, Netflix suggesting shows, the news feed on your phone, AI is behind so much of it. So in this part of our deep dive, we want to clarify what AI actually is, how it's changing things, and where it might be heading, keeping it clear, not too technical.
Right. We have some great source material to help us unpack that. So understanding the basics, the real-world applications, and the future possibilities.
So let's start with the fundamentals. What is artificial intelligence, basically?
At its core, AI refers to computer systems doing things that normally require human intelligence. Things like solving problems, making decisions based on data, understanding language, recognizing images or patterns. It's essentially about teaching computers to learn and adapt, not just follow rigid instructions.
And the sources mention different types of AI.
Yeah, they usually break it down into three main categories. First, there's narrow AI or weak AI. This is the AI we mostly interact with today. It's specialized for one specific task like facial recognition or chatbot answering questions about shipping or playing chess. It's like a team of specialists.
Okay, good analogy. Then there's general AI or strong AI. That sounds more like science fiction.
For now, yes. General AI is the theoretical goal of creating AI with human-level cognitive abilities across the board. An AI that could learn, reason, and apply knowledge to any task a human can. That's the really big challenge, the ultimate goal for many researchers. We're not there yet.
And beyond that, super intelligent AI.
That's even further out, purely speculative. The idea of AI that surpasses human intelligence in pretty much every way. It raises huge questions, both exciting and potentially worrying, but definitely still in the realm of speculation.
Got it. The sources also distinguish between machine learning and deep learning. How do they fit together?
Okay, think of machine learning as a big umbrella. It's a type of AI where systems learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every scenario. They spot patterns and make predictions. You feed it examples, and it learns the rules itself.
Learning by example for computers makes sense.
Exactly. Deep learning is then a specific, very powerful technique within machine learning. It uses these things called neural networks, which are inspired by the structure of the human brain, with many layers. These networks are really good at finding complex, subtle patterns in massive amounts of data. That's why deep learning has been so successful in areas like image recognition and natural language processing. It's kind of like the brain of the AI in many modern applications.
Okay, that clarifies the relationship. Now, even with all these amazing capabilities, the sources stress that AI intelligence and human intelligence are still very different things.
Absolutely crucial point. AI can process data incredibly fast, spot patterns humans might miss, but it lacks genuine human qualities. Things like emotions, consciousness, true creativity, common sense understanding of the world.
The things that make us human.
Right. Humans are still unique in understanding subtle social cues, context, making ethical judgments that aren't just based on code or data. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it doesn't replicate the full human experience. You could say AI's got the incredible processing power, but we've still got the steering wheel, the judgment.
I like that. Steering wheel. Now, let's look back briefly. AI didn't just appear overnight. The sources give a quick history.
No, it's been a long journey. Really started mid-20th century.
Alan Turing's Turing test in 1950 is mentioned. Can a machine imitate human conversation well enough to fool someone? Still a benchmark.
And the Dartmouth Conference in 1956 is where the actual term artificial intelligence was coined, the official starting point of the field.
Then Eliza, in 1966, one of the first chatbots. Seems basic now, but shows how far we've come in computer-human interaction.
Totally. It showed the potential even back then.
Then some big moments really brought AI into the public eye. IBM's Deep Blue beating Garry Kasparov at chess in 1997.
Huge moment. Showed AI could handle incredibly complex strategic thinking. A real wake-up call for many.
Fast forward to 2011, Apple introduces Siri.
Right. Suddenly, AI was in everyone's pocket. Made it feel real, accessible.
And then Google's AlphaGo beating the world Go champion in 2016. Go is seen as much more intuitive than chess.
Yeah, that was massive. It demonstrated the power of deep learning to master something requiring complex strategy and intuition, things previously thought uniquely human.
And now AI is just everywhere.
Pretty much integrated into our phones, healthcare, finance, and now generative AI like ChatGPT, DLE, creating text, images, music. The pace of innovation right now is just incredibly fast.
Which leads us perfectly into everyday applications. Things you probably use without even thinking about the AI involved.
Definitely. Personal assistant Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, setting reminders, searching by voice, controlling smart home devices. It's become so normal, it's easy to forget the AI doing the work.
True. And smart homes themselves. Thermostats learning your schedule, security cameras using AI for motion detection or recognizing faces, smart lighting.
And our entertainment is heavily shaped by AI. Netflix recommendations, Spotify playlists. It's like having a personal curator, powered by algorithms analyzing your habits.
But the impact goes way beyond personal convenience into transforming whole industries.
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare is a massive one.
Yeah, the sources talk about AI analyzing medical images, X-rays, MRIs, often faster and sometimes more accurately than humans, and predicting disease risk.
Right, using AI to identify patients at high risk for conditions, allowing for earlier intervention. That's huge potential. Then there's robotic surgery, using AI for enhanced precision. And AI is speeding up drug discovery, analyzing compounds way faster than we could manually.
Shifting to education, we touched on this, personalized learning platforms like Duolingo adapting to you, AI tutors, automated grading.
Making learning more tailored and freeing up teachers' time?
And in business, automation is a big theme.
Yeah, AI taking over repetitive tasks like data entry, certain manufacturing jobs, boosts efficiency, but raises those important questions about the future of work. Customer service is another big one. AI chatbots handling inquiries 247, and marketing, analyzing consumer data for super targeted ads.
Finally, transportation. Self-driving cars get a lot of headlines.
Tesla, Waymo, it's coming. But AI is also used for optimizing traffic flow in cities, planning more efficient flight routes, managing package delivery logistics, making transportation smarter across the board. It's truly transformative stuff, bringing huge benefits in efficiency and convenience, no doubt about it.
Okay, we've covered the basics, the history, the current impact. Looking ahead, what are some of the really exciting or important future directions for AI mentioned in the sources?
Well, the big one, the ultimate goal for many remains artificial general intelligence, AGI, that human-level reasoning across any domain.
AI that can truly think like us. Still theoretical, though.
Still theoretical, yeah. But even short of that, the sources really emphasize the potential for human-AI collaboration. It's less about AI replacing humans and more about AI augmenting our abilities. Think doctors using AI for better diagnoses, scientists using AI to accelerate research, artists using AI as a creative tool. The potential for synergy seems enormous.
So understanding AI isn't just for techies anymore.
Not at all. The sources make it clear comprehending AI, its capabilities, its implications, is becoming essential for everyone. For navigating careers, for understanding societal changes, for just being an informed citizen in the 21st century.
All right, let's transition now. We've talked about AI's broad impact. And one area where it's hugely influential, along with other digital tech, is social media, something we all use or are at least aware of every single day.
An absolutely massive topic, and the sources really provide a deep analysis of its effects.
Yeah, and our goal here isn't to explain how Facebook or TikTok works, you know that. It's to pull out the most important insights from this analysis. The good, the bad, the complicated.
Exactly. Trying to get that balanced perspective on how it affects communication, learning, business, our mental health, even politics and privacy.
Right. This analysis digs deep, and we're here to highlight the core findings. Let's start with communication and relationships. Seems fundamental to social media.
It really is. And the sources point out this interesting tension. On one hand, unprecedented connection, instant messaging, WhatsApp, Messenger, DMs, it's changed everything. Global connectivity, interacting with people worldwide, different cultures, and reconnecting with old friends or family on platforms like Facebook. That's pretty remarkable when you step back.
True. But there's a downside highlighted too, isn't there? The quality of the interaction.
Yeah, the potential for superficiality. You lose all those nonverbal cues online, tone of voice, body language. It leads to so many misunderstandings.
Misreading texts happens all the time. And then there's the addictive design.
Right. These platforms are engineered to keep you scrolling, keep you engaged, which can sometimes mean neglecting real-life relationships for the virtual ones.
It's a constant battle for attention. So a question for you listening, do you feel social media ultimately brings you closer to people, or does it sometimes create more distance? Something to think about. Now, let's shift to education and learning.
Another area with huge impacts, both positive and negative, according to the analysis.
The opportunities seem incredible. Online learning platforms, YouTube, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, just an explosion of accessible knowledge. It's democratized education in many ways. And collaboration tools, Facebook groups, Google Classroom allow for sharing resources, discussions, peer learning like never before.
It really does create a kind of global classroom. And for language learning, as we discussed earlier, things like Duolingo or finding language exchange partners on Reddit. Direct practice is so much easier now, essential for getting fluent.
But the challenges are real too. Distraction is a huge one.
Oh yeah, notifications constantly popping up, the endless scroll. It's so easy to get sucked down rabbit holes and little focus.
Very easy. And the analysis also hammers home the issue of misinformation.
It's a massive problem. Trying to figure out what's true online is incredibly difficult, and bad information spreads like wildfire. Critical thinking skills are more important than ever. So another reflection point for you. How has social media helped or hindered your own learning?
Good question. Let's look at the business world now. Social media has completely changed the game there.
Totally transformed it, especially marketing. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Powerful tools for reaching very specific audiences, and that direct communication channel businesses getting instant feedback via comments, DMs, building communities around their brands, plus e-commerce built right in. Facebook Marketplace, Instagram Shopping, people are buying and selling directly on the platforms.
It's a whole new marketplace, but downsides exist here too. Fake reviews are mentioned.
Yeah, that erodes trust, makes it hard for consumers to know what's real. And the competition, especially for small businesses, is just intense. It's hard to stand out in that noise.
So thinking about your own habits, would you buy something based only on social media ads? Why or why not? It taps into that trust issue. Okay, let's tackle a really critical area, mental health and well-being.
Yeah, this gets a lot of attention, and rightly so. The analysis shows it's really complex. On the plus side, social media can foster incredibly supportive communities. People finding others with shared interests, health conditions, hobbies. Finding their tribe online can be powerful. And it's been used for positive awareness campaigns like reducing the stigma around mental health. That's important progress. But the negative effects are serious.
Social comparison seems to be a big one, constantly seeing these perfect, curated versions of other people's lives.
Exactly. It makes it so easy to compare your own reality and feel inadequate, anxious, or depressed. Comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. Then there's cyberbullying. The anonymity and reach of online platforms can make it particularly vicious and harmful. And sleep problems, that late-night scrolling messing with sleep patterns, it becomes a nasty cycle.
Definitely a complex picture. So for you listening, how do you manage your social media use to protect your mental health? What works for you? Now let's widen the lens again to politics and society.
The influence here is undeniable. Social media is a powerful tool for raising awareness, mobilizing people for causes. Think Black Lives Matter, how it spread globally. It can also increase government transparency with leaders communicating directly. But the dangers are also huge.
Fake news and misinformation again. Spreading so fast, potentially influencing elections, public opinion.
It's a major challenge for democracy. And polarization, the echo chambers and filter bubbles where we only see things that confirm our existing views, it makes dialogue so much harder, it drives us further apart.
Which raises a tough question the analysis implicitly asks. Should governments step in to regulate political content online? Very tricky territory. Let's move to privacy and security.
Always a big concern. The risks are real: data theft, scams, identity theft. Plus, the whole business model of many platforms is tracking your data for targeted ads. Where's the line? How much privacy are we trading for convenience? And things like fake profiles, impersonation. It's a minefield sometimes.
So being aware is step one. The analysis offers basic advice too.
Yeah, the usual stuff, but it's important. Use strong, unique passwords. Be careful what personal info you share. And actually look at your privacy settings. Don't just click accept on everything. Most people don't bother.
True. A personal check-in. How concerned are you about your privacy on social media? Worth considering. Finally, let's look at the future of social media. What trends does the analysis point to?
Some fascinating stuff. Virtual reality, social networks like Meta's Horizon Worlds, a whole new level of immersion, actually being in a shared virtual space. AI will get even more integrated, smarter chatbots, better content moderation, hopefully more personalization. And there's talk of decentralized platforms using blockchain. The idea is maybe more user control over data, more privacy. That could be a big shift if it takes off.
Lots of potential changes. So last question for you listening. What changes would you like to see in social media's future? What would your ideal platform look like? Wow. We've covered a massive amount of ground today.
We really have. From the neuroscience of learning, through the evolution of EdTech, the pervasive impact of AI, and the complexities of social media. I hope this deep dive has highlighted the incredible opportunities these changes bring for you, the resources, the connections, the learning potential, but also the need for awareness and adaptation. This evolution is definitely not over.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought to leave you with. Given how fast all this technology is changing education, society, everything, what fundamental human skills do you think will be the most crucial for us to cultivate in this increasingly digital future?
That's a great question. And maybe another one. Thinking about AI specifically, its potential, its risks, what aspects of its future development seem most promising to you, and which ones need the most careful consideration, the most ethical thought as we move forward.
Definitely things to ponder. How will our relationship with technology continue to evolve, and what might be the long-term consequences, even the unintended ones? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today.
Yes, thank you for listening. We'll connect with you again soon.